All right, so we are now live. This is another Bet Surge Sports Live show. Going to try to make you some money this upcoming weekend starting tomorrow. Our goals for this one are to essentially talk about upcoming football games, championship weekend, huge basketball slate as well. Ton of money to be made since these books have not yet caught up to the college basketball eyes. And then talking a little bit about the playoff and all of those good things. So getting it kicked off. Big matchup Saturday, 4 o'clock, Georgia, Alabama. Georgia is a 2.5 point favorite, SEC championship. What's your take on this one, Matt?
I like Georgia in this game. I know Kirby Smart has not been able to get over the hump with Alabama, whether that was Nick Saban or Kellen DeBoer, doesn't matter. He hasn't been able to do it. They're throwing you -2.5 for a reason here. I know Georgia was favored the first matchup this year, or the only matchup this year so far. That was on Georgia's home field where I had Alabama. But Georgia's just been playing better football as of late. Their defense has been picking up. Alabama's offense has kind of been sputtering. They lost to Oklahoma when they outgained them by, I don't know the exact number, but roughly 200 plus yards. They outgained Oklahoma by and still lost. So their defense is a little suspect, but I like Georgia in this game. Multiple times Kirby Smart has lost to an Alabama team in the SEC championship game. I think the streak dies today. I might be on the wrong side of history yet again, but I like Georgia in this one.
Yeah, that was definitely my initial take as well. This one I'm definitely conflicted on to some degree. I think you were exactly right in the sense of I think that Alabama's always kind of had the upper hand when it comes to Kirby. And I do think they are the better team. My only big question here is that in this game specifically, um, I would think that they're both safe in the CFP, but with his crowded as the end of that is, I am really curious to see if Alabama were to lose this one, if it kicks them out. So my only real question in that is, do they have more to play for? They in Georgia does, but nonetheless, I think this is going to be a really competitive game. I would go with the Georgia -2.5, and this one I also took the over, just because ever since that Georgia Tennessee game earlier this year. I don't know, just something about that team in big games. I think that they just, have the tendency to really make it a shootout. But I don't know. What's your take there, Austin?
I'm with you guys. I think Georgia's covering 2.5. Not sure about the over. Could be the defensive game. That wouldn't surprise me. But definitely, I'm taking 2.5 with Georgia. It opened up at 1.5. The people now went 2.5. And I got a couple interesting stats here. It says Georgia has lost 10 of the 11 against Alabama since 2007, and they're 0-4 against them in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So, like Matt said, I think they'll take out a turn and they're going to get the dub. So, and also, even when Alabama loses, they're still going to make the playoffs because, let's be real, they're going to make it. It's Alabama football. In the playoffs, they're not going to not let them get in there. I'd be surprised. I'd be really surprised.
No. SEC bias, it's never been a thing.
One more thing I got on this game. Kirby Smart has been one of the best in-game adjusters in college football. So, like when they played Alabama before, earlier in the year, I think it was 24 points Alabama scored in the first half against Georgia. They got shut out. They got shut out in the second half. So you'd think they know what they're doing here, and they might get off to a little faster start in this one. But if Georgia is down, look for a Georgia second half bet, because Kirby's pretty good at covering that second half spread most games.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's good. Honestly, I oftentimes have better results when I'm betting a half as opposed to the whole game. I should really do it more. It's not always the most fun thing, but that's also,
You
why the
got to
book
sit there for
wins.
a little while. You can't turn the game on and walk away.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that makes perfect sense. Big Ten, big matchup this weekend. 1 and 2 in Indy for Big Ten championship. Ohio State, Indiana. What's your take on this one?
First rip, I like the under. The under is gone now. I believe it opened 49. Now it's down to 47.5. 49 is a pretty key number in football. Just with
7 touchdowns.
what is that?
Yeah.
7 touchdowns. Yeah, good math, Mr. Bats. So I like that initially. Didn't bet it, but now it's down to 47.5. I'd still probably lean under. Ohio State, they haven't played a murderer's row of a schedule, but they have not let up more than 16 points all season long. So that's something to keep an eye on. I don't have a bet in this game yet, but if I had to right now, the line's been moving a lot, so I've been holding off. But I'd lean Ohio State. Don't really know if I want to really get in front of this buzzsaw of the Ohio State team. They are at least, I think, 11-1 or at least 10-2 against the spread this year. So, been pretty profitable back in the Ohio State Buckeyes this year. So that's where I would lean. See if it opened 5.5. It's down to 4 right now. Ohio State -4. So see where it goes. Don't think I'll get a flat 3, but if you do get a flat 3, definitely say take the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Indiana's definitely got some buzz now. And I think the Big Ten is just the perfect example of like what can happen when you create these super conferences and having really weak conference schedules. And like, I mean, stuff happens in every conference, but I think like in this case, like Ohio State's biggest game really was their week 1 matchup against Texas. And they had a really easy rest of conference play in the Big Ten. And then you could also make the argument that Indiana's route, aside from Oregon, was pretty easy. But nonetheless,
that Penn State game though.
Yeah, no, and that's a talented Penn State team,
right? No coach, but they still have 5 stars all over the board, NFL players all over the board, and what happened there? They struggled. They struggled a lot.
They really did.
And that's something to keep an eye on too. Obviously, they went to Oregon, beat Oregon, but the second time they had to step up in class and go to Penn State, they struggled a lot. So I think it's going to be a majority of Indiana fans. It's in Indianapolis. So
first time ever making it. Yeah.
That's another key thing too. It's, what is it, an hour and a half drive up 65 to get to Indianapolis?
Not even. Yeah. Like
less than that. So it should be a fun game. It's probably one of the most anticipated matchups of the entire season. Definitely going to be a fun watch, but I don't know if I can put my hard-earned dollars up against the buzzsaw of Ohio State.
Yeah. I think we might actually end up going to this game. I'm supposed to go to Indy this weekend, so
they're not cheap, man. We looked at it.
I know. Yeah. If we do end up doing it, I probably will place a wager on Indiana just for the fun of it. But yeah, I think you're exactly right. Spread wise, if it gets down to -3, taking Ohio State all day. I hate to bet against Cignetti, but I know we were talking in a conversation earlier this year, Matt. It was with Cignetti and laying eggs. And he's never really done it. And that Penn State win they barely got out of would have been the first egg that he's ever laid.
That was the only time, really.
Yeah, but if you lose to Ohio State, the thing is, like, that's not laying an egg. Like, you lost because you're supposed to lose.
Right. They're still getting in the playoffs. They still might even get a bye if they lose.
Yeah, exactly. Neither has a ton to play for in this. I don't know. What's your take on this one, Austin?
This one's pure. Uh, I think whoever's got the strongest emotion and going into this game is going to come out with the win. Signetti last year, kind of what everybody expected to happen to Indiana and happened. And I feel like he probably lost a lot of for weeks after just kind of getting manhandled. And, the times, it's been a year and he's back up, got another shot at it. And I know they're not going to the playoffs yet, but it's a big statement game for Indiana. And I think Signetti is going to fire them boys up, and they're going to come out knowing they're playing Ohio State in front of arguably the whole country is going to be watching this game. I mean, I'm tuning in for sure.
Yeah.
Saturday night. I think I hope it comes down with the win, but I'm definitely taking them plus 4.5 right now.
Yeah.
I just think, there's my mind tells me go with Ohio State. That's definitely the safest bet. They're the Buckeyes, but for some reason my gut tells me Indiana's going to shock the nation a little bit and really beating Ohio.
Yeah, no, I think that it's very valid. And it was, I think, the big thing similar in the sense to like the SEC championship. It's like who has more to play for here. And in this case, 1 versus 2, like you're obviously both in the playoff, like no questions whatsoever. Like, like Matt said, I think the only argument might be having to do around the bye. But in this case,
they still have a lot to play for, though.
They do. But I guess my question is like, do you think that it is harder to hold a locker room when the result of the game doesn't necessarily define the rest of your season?
Yeah, that could be true. But, I mean, the past couple of years, I forget the last time Ohio State won the Big Ten outright, like in the conference championship game. Because the past couple of years, it's been Michigan. And, I mean, Indiana, I forget the year because it's so long ago. But Indiana's never won an outright Big Ten title, but they split one back in, I don't know, the 60s maybe?
Yeah.
Like, they're both going to make the playoffs. They both could have a bye still, no matter who loses this game. But there's still a ton to play for. Now, it might be maybe someone tweaks something, a player tweaks something, and they sit them out the rest of the game because they still know they're going to the playoffs. But the coaching staff, the coaches, the head coaches, they're trying to win this game. That's the bottom line. So, I mean, unless an injury occurs where they're like, hey, shut it down today, this game is important for both teams.
Sure.
Yeah. I think Signetti is the only coach I've ever seen when you're up 30 and he just looks mad as can be.
He'll pour it on you, man.
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he say a couple weeks ago? When UCLA was winning, when they fired their coach, they went 3-0. He's like, hey, this is an undefeated team we got here, and then put up 50 on them.
Yeah. Like
he doesn't care.
He puts up points, or like after that Oregon win, and he's just like straight faced the whole interview. Thought that stuff was pretty wild there. Yeah. Looking at this Big 12 matchup, a really interesting one with Texas Tech, BYU. I think every single time I've bet against BYU this year, I've been proven wrong on it. So I hate to do it again. However, I think this is a really good Texas Tech team. Spread in this one's pretty big. 12.5.
That's Texas Tech is a wagon, man.
Yeah, the Texas money. It spins.
Yeah, so what is it? It's a lot of oil money down there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. As far as betting on this one, this is almost one of those like no touch kind of games for me. just in the sense of like there's really no value in either of these money lines unless you think BYU can pull it off.
What's interesting to me is that the spread and the total, obviously these teams played 4 or 5 weeks ago. It was a early morning kick at Texas Tech in Lubbock. College game day was there. Like big deal for those guys. The spread and the total are pretty much the exact same as that first matchup. And that game went under the total, and BYU or Texas Tech covered. Which it's I don't have the only play I have on this game is I took Texas Tech to win the Big 12 in I think like week 6 or week 7 or 8, one of those 3 weeks. It was minus 110. So now I'm sitting here with Texas Tech money line minus 110, and they're
That's awesome.
12.5-point favorites.
Yeah,
I just thought it was
good job.
so. I'm not going to play the spread at all. If I get a bonus, a boosted bet, probably play BYU just to guarantee some sort of profit on this one. But I just thought it was interesting, very intriguing that the numbers are the exact same as the first time they played. And now it's
Right.
not a home game for Texas Tech. It's a neutral site, still in Texas in AT&T Stadium. But I thought it was odd.
Yeah.
I'd lean under here if you're getting 49.5. I think it was, I got to look it up, but is it 26? It was 26 to something.
29. You talking played earlier this season?
Yeah, 29-7. I was going to say 26-7. 29-7. So
Crumble
I definitely
cookies.
lean under. I'd probably lean Texas Tech minus the points too. I don't think BYU wants to run the ball. They have shown before they cannot block Texas Tech at all.
Yeah.
And that's a $10+ million defensive line right there.
Yeah.
Not many
man.
teams are blocking that.
Yeah. I don't think crumble cookies are going to bother their way to this Big 12 title.
No, that was
here.
fun though. That was a fun little story.
Keep your coach, but I don't think they're getting past this oil money in Texas. Looking at the ACC, and I think what has the potential to cause the biggest buzz as far as playoff wise, if an upset happens here. Obviously, a Virginia team we're very familiar with in this overtime loss that we had to them earlier this season. But you got a Duke team that Matt has been very high on all season in conference play.
I gave up on them a while ago.
But like that UConn Duke game you really called there, Duke was smart in knowing what they had to play for and what their path actually was. And I've got a lot of respect for it. Knowing that they're not going to get an at-large, so the only way to do it's win your conference, and they somehow really showed up for conference games and not for others. But I don't think they can get it done against this Virginia team. But what's your take?
I agree. We saw it 3 weeks ago. It was 31-7. Virginia was up in the fourth quarter. It ended up being 31-17. Virginia took their foot off the gas, let Duke, or 34-17. 34-17, I believe. Virginia had a fourth quarter field goal. Duke scored 10 points in the fourth quarter. I think this line it opened like 3 points. It's pretty ridiculous. And I think what's more ridiculous is the fact that Duke is in this game. There was 4 or 5 teams that were 6-2 in the ACC, and it got all the way down to the 5th tiebreaker to get Duke into this game, which was, I forget the exactly what it was, but it was like conference opponent win percentage, and that had to do with the Notre Dame Stanford game last week in the Syracuse-Boston College game last week, which those games didn't mean anything at all for
Those teams, yeah.
any ramifications, but somehow on the fifth tiebreaker, Duke gets in. So I hope there's no more chaos. Just let's let Virginia in. Let's let them win. Let them in the playoff. Let's get Duke out of here. They're 7-5. They're 2 games over 500, and they could be in the college football playoff.
Yeah, literally.
That's wild.
It's insane.
That's all I have. I took Virginia.
Some bad losses.
Right. There's a couple that they've shown in the stats, like after the game, that they outgained them in yardage, right? But they just lost the turnover battle in a lot of these games. But I'm done with them. Let's get them out of here. I took Virginia -3.5. I'm over Duke.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah, Virginia -3.5. I don't think Duke's got a shot. Really, it's crazy that these are the 2 teams playing shit for the 8. You would tell me this at the beginning of the season, I'd have called you a liar. Only that, right? Would have bet dude to end up in the 8 be
right.
Because this is insane. But yeah, I think Virginia should cover easily. Duke's a basketball school, and that's enough said right there. So let Duke do their thing in basketball, and I hope Virginia gets the first RC championship ever. So that'd be.
The last thing I'll say, there are 6 teams in the ACC that have a better overall record than the Duke Blue Devils. We're not talking conference record. I know, because there's a couple teams that are 500 that have a better overall record. But the fact that you can get into the playoffs or get into the conference championship game at 7-5,
something's wrong.
And there's multiple teams that are 8-4, 9-3, and 10-2 in front of you. It's kind of a problem. I wouldn't mind like Virginia, Miami. Someone make the call. Just rig the game. Who cares?
Yeah. As far as either of these teams doing anything in a playoff, it's definitely Virginia. If any of them, granted, it would take a lot in their favor to do anything, but they have.
I think they'd be.
Chance than Duke.
I think they'd be if Virginia wins, they'd be the 11 seed. So they'd have to play the 5, or they'd have to play the 6 if I'm doing my math right.
Mm-hmm.
Which I didn't check the last bracket, but whoever it is, they're not winning.
Ohio State wins, drop Indiana to,
right, 5 or 6. Whoever it is, Virginia's not winning a first round playoff game.
No, neither one of them.
No.
Indiana would bust both.
And that might. We're talking like 2 touchdown plus spreads on those games.
Yeah.
Not close.
Yeah, but granted, Duke getting in this, 17 or more spread,
That's if Duke gets in and they're playing a 6 seed, we might be talking about 3 touchdowns plus.
Yeah, and just a terrible look for the conference in general.
Right, that's one they put on. You don't have to really tune into that.
Yeah, not a good one at all there. And then moving on, really interesting matchup out of the American. 2 coaches who are both coaching their teams, correct, but they're no longer the head coach there after this run. Really, I think you've got 2 of the hottest names out of the G5 coaching that I'm excited for this matchup, and it's also 20 versus 21. Slight edge to North Texas in the spread at -2.5. But what is you guys' initial take on this one?
I like North Texas here. I'm going to double down. I have a preseason future on North Texas, plus 1,800 to win the American. But there's nothing that they have shown me to make me hedge out of this, so I'm going to double down. North Texas minus 2.5. They have an elite offense. I mean, they'll put up points on anyone. I think it'll be a very, very cool to see them in the playoffs because they can score. They can score a lot of points. I mean, they've put up 63 multiple times this year. So I think even if they get a Power 5 team, obviously they're going to be overmatched with the athletes, but I think they can put up points on almost anyone. This game really comes down to who's going to be the number 12 seed in the playoffs. So they're going to play the number 5. I don't think either of these teams are going to win a college football playoff game. But with North Texas, I think they're going to be able to score. Could make it somewhat interesting. And last thing about the American, this one's on Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. These conference championship games are still played at home fields. So this one's going to be at Tulane and not at a neutral site. But both coaches, I know Kobe talked about this, both coaches got Power 4 jobs. Eric Morris from North Texas at Oklahoma State and John Summerall from Tulane at Florida. But both schools allowed them to still coach in these games, which I think is very cool. Not many times, I don't think, have to see with the upcoming years, but not many times in the future are you going to see these teams in contention for the college football playoff. So give me North Texas minus 2.5. Double down on the future from the preseason.
Yeah, no, and the fact that you've got a money line that's actually minus 136 for plus 1800 is pretty freaking awesome. That's a heck of a deal you got there. Yeah, I mean, it being at Tulane would be my only question to it, but I do think North Texas is your just like better team, top down. That quarterback they've got there will be playing for a very big Power 4 school next year, I'm sure.
Probably is going to go to Oklahoma State, if we had to be honest.
Yeah, unless money talks elsewhere. But his stat line on the season is just insane. But yeah, I totally agree with you there. I'd take North Texas spread money line, all of it. But what's your take, Austin?
Yeah, North Texas covering 2.5. I am going to right now. The over-under is sitting at 66.5. It opened up at 62.5. I'm going to take yes, I think Texas is going to put up points. I'm going to put up most of the points. But I do think Lane being at home, being championship on a Friday night, they're going to pack the house. And, 66.5 points, that's a lot of points. 62 points, that's a lot of points in the game, and you're still winning that bet at under 66.5. So take them covering 2.5, and I'm going to take the under of 6.
Yeah. No, I like that one. So that pretty much wraps up all of the college football. Looking at some of these college basketball games this weekend, really a huge slate that's obviously not going to get talked about enough by national media. Tons of games that are out. Spreads aren't out just yet. But Matt, if you kind of want to go through these, I know you've got the KenPom rankings and projections on all of them.
Yeah. So I went chronological order with these. So starting off with Iowa State, Purdue, and Duke, Michigan State, both of those at noon Eastern time. I'm on Central time, so 11 a.m. here for me. I'll start with Iowa State, Purdue. We have no spreads out yet, so all of these games we're going to talk about, I'm just going to give you a KenPom projected number on what it is. So Iowa State, Purdue, it's at the Mackey Center in West Lafayette, East Lafayette?
Whatever. West, yeah.
West Lafayette, Indiana. And KenPom projects Purdue -5 here at a 5-point number. Over under projected 153. Now, obviously, KenPom rankings, it's one of the most trusted sources for college basketball. They're not going to be as accurate as they're going to be later on in the year, just because we don't have that many data points. And not all of these teams have played a ton of big games. A couple of these teams have. A couple of these teams were in Feast Week tournaments. If you want to call it Players Era Festival a tournament where they didn't do a bracket, sure. But some of these teams played big games, other teams didn't. Iowa State, Purdue, project Purdue -5, over under 153. I know Purdue played this week, or Iowa State played this week, and Purdue. Purdue blew out Rutgers this week. I just want to know, is Tamin Lipsey from Iowa State playing in this game? He's their point guard. He's a difference maker. He's a veteran guy. He's going to get his shots up. He's going to get his assists, get the team involved. So I have KenPom rankings for all these games. Or not rankings, but projected numbers. And then I also have a little fun stat for each of these games. So the Iowa State defense, they rank top 3 in the nation in steals per game. Thought that's a little interesting. I know Purdue has veteran backcourt with their guards, Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith. Braden Smith's up for John Wooden Player of the Year, but just thought that was a little interesting. Iowa State defense, top 3 in the nation for steals per game.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good one there, and I think you've got a really interesting Purdue team. And I think your stat there about steals is really interesting. I'm interested to see what the spread turns out to be on this one, but if it's Iowa State plus a couple of points, it's probably what I'll be taking.
Yeah, I probably say Purdue -6.5. If I had to take a stab at it, we'll come back to it on Friday night when the lines come out. But
yeah,
that would be my guess.
Austin, any takes there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the UK Gonzaga game right now. It's showing 4.5. They're giving points to UK. I think they need them. I'm taking Gonzaga -4.5 for that game. You can call me a hater, but yeah, Gonzaga. I think they're gonna tighten them cheeks even more for the UK fan base. So that's something I'm expecting. Super excited for the Michigan State Duke game. However, I do think Duke will take that win. I think Duke is looking very sweet. And then also Tennessee. Tennessee right now it's showing on my end 2.5 over Illinois. It's at Tennessee, I believe. And wait, is that correct? It is at Tennessee. Yes. And
I think that one is at a neutral site.
Neutral site.
Which I think is in Nashville, so still kind of a home game.
But. Okay, so kind of Tennessee. But I think they're due to really blow out a spread. I watched that Tennessee-Houston game and was very impressed by Tennessee that game. And then it just kind of seems like they kind of what happened to them the other night with Syracuse and Syracuse got some solid players. But I know that had to be gut-wrenching for them. So I think they're due to just have a pretty easy win. So I think they're going to handle it. I would buy the points up even more, probably about -6.5, 7.5 for Illinois. Right now it's showing 2.5. But I really like Tennessee in that game. Looking at Louisville versus Indiana, I'm taking
a bad loss, Indiana.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to be. It's a neutral site up there, but it's definitely going to be more of a home game for Indiana. But obviously, probably a little bias here, but I think Pat Kelsey's going to make some major adjustments to that last game, and we're going to come out. I think Michael Brown had some freshmanness to him the last game.
He was kind of being a. He was kind of being a ball hog, to be honest with you.
Ridiculous. Yeah, he looked a lot like the Kansas game, and I think his problem is he gets down there with the other highly rated freshmen, and he's trying to prove something. But he needs to just be himself. If Michael Brown just is himself, the game will come to him, and that's just a freshman mentality that he's got to work through. But we saw what happened last time. we lost to Kansas. Michael Brown come back and just was locked in on the threes the very next game. So I feel good going in the Indiana game. I take Louisville money line. I'm not sure if there's any kind of numbers out there yet. What's some of the other games y'all were hitting on?
Do you have a fun fact on this one, Matt?
Yeah, I
The
got a
Louisville
couple.
IU.
So I know he glossed over Duke, Michigan State. That line was posted last night. Opened Michigan State -1.5. I kind of like Michigan State in this one. Duke, welcome to the Izzone. Tom Izzo, he's going to put you in hell. That's a fact. One thing that can travel, I know Duke's got a lot of freshmen. They also have a lot of players back from, or a couple players back from last year. Caleb Foster and Patrick Ngumba. I'm probably butchering that last name, but Duke's defense is number 1 in field goal percentage on the year. So defense travels. Offense might the Breslin Center in Michigan State, the Izzone. It's going to be rocking on Saturday. It's 11 a.m. early. Their students are going to get out there, but the defense can travel. Duke's defense number 1 in field goal percentage on the year. Both defenses are top 3 in adjusted defensive efficiency. And I have this game, or KenPom has this game as Michigan State -1, total 139. So very low scoring game. Both defenses top 3 in the nation. So that's something to look for. I know Austin already touched on Louisville, Indiana. This one's at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, I believe. KenPom's got it Louisville -4, over under at 158. Indiana's a top 5 team nationally in 2-point field goal percentage. So really what it comes down to, which they didn't do against Arkansas, but can Louisville hit their 3-point shots? So Indiana's shown this year they're able to protect the rim, able to protect the 2-point shot, but can Louisville hit threes? And I'm not talking Michael Brown pull up threes or
Off
2
bounds
dribbles,
shot.
1 pass, right, off the bounce 3-pointers, because those weren't falling, and they took 100 of them against Arkansas. But can they create offense to create 3-point shots, open 3-point shots? They have a lot of good 3-point shooters, but can they create the offense to open those up? That's the real question. Again, this probably comes out probably similar to that Arkansas game. Louisville -3, Louisville -4-ish in that range.
I'm hammering that one, but
can they hit the 3-point shots? And that's what it comes down to. That's what it came down to last year with Pat Kelsey's teams. That's what it's going to come down to this year with his teams.
Yeah. I'd like to see a little bit more Kanai Ruths and a little bit more Kason Pryor, honestly.
Yeah,
I thought come out the other night. They looked good. Khalifa was kind of wearing me out a little bit, especially with that air ball.
yeah.
I'm so sick. There's no reason to be playing Khalifa at all.
Right.
He can't move his feet. He's got slow feet, and he can't jump. So when we're playing Kentucky, it was very clear on tape or on watching the game that he could not contend anything at the rim with Kentucky's guards or their big men. He can't jump.
It's weird. Yeah,
What-
dude, that tall, zero vertical. Like,
I know he's a good passer. I know he can score in the post. He can hit jump shots, free throw line extended. But when we're talking about protecting the rim, he cannot do that.
there's
Yeah,
no
4 for
defensive
5.
value. Yeah.
It's gotta be Frew and it's gotta be Ruth protecting the rim. There's no reason to play Khalifa. It's not like he has a 3-point shot that makes him valuable over those other big men.
Right.
That's my
I mean-
take. I said it during the Kentucky game to you all. It's like we have to get him out of the game. He's got slow feet.
Yeah, very much so. And I think Kason Pryor is going to make a few statements here pretty soon.
He
these
brings
next
so
couple
much
games.
energy.
Yeah.
Did you
He
see
brings,
that dunk he had yesterday?
yeah. Well, I thought his knees were about to lock up.
Yeah. He did not get off the ground at all.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
The only thing that got above the rim was the ball.
yeah. His
That was a
knees
tough
locked up
watch.
on
The announcers went right into it hasn't even been a year since his ACL surgery.
Yeah.
Like instantly.
Precautionary.
Yeah, it was Yeah, lay that up, Kayjon.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited to see too, just like how the rest of the team bounces off of his energy there. I think Michael is someone who's really going to benefit from that. Really, just like Kaysen being such a big energy piece, and but back to Brown, I don't want to talk about it too much, but yeah, no, I think he was very frustrating early on, but it was like after he hit that dunk and he had that boost of confidence to go and drive and finish close to the rim, like, that was what was needed in the first half.
Yeah,
Is
he
that
played
all
very
along.
well.
Right after that, like, yeah,
Besides a couple chucked up threes.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that
but
very last 3-point that he shot in the game, that I got up and walked away after that. It's when we like got our rebound, threw it to him, and he just threw it back up. I was like, oh my gosh, you didn't even look at the rim first, buddy.
yeah, yeah, that was pretty
But
bad. But yeah, if it's anywhere less than 5, I'll be hammering that one, I believe. St. John's Ole Miss. I'm not sure if you guys caught the press conference after the Ole Miss game, but they had asked a player, like what do you do? Like, what can you do differently about like, adjusting to certain things? And Chris Beard chimes in and just says we can play different players. The players who played don't have to play, which I thought was just like a really pretty wild thing to say, like publicly. But interested to see how this goes. I would still lean towards St. John's in this, but what's the Ken Palm prediction, Matt?
KenPom's got it. St. John's -10. Total 154. Now, St. John's has played Baylor, Iowa State. I forget who else, but every challenge they have faced besides Baylor, they've lost. And they've beaten all their other cupcakes on the schedule. But every time St. John's has gotten into a big game, they've lost. So something to keep an eye on here. Stat I have for this one, St. John's, number 8 in offensive adjusted efficiency, which we normally don't see from Rick Pitino teams. We normally see them as defensive-minded teams that are going to suffocate you throughout the game. Now, even though they've lost 3 out of the 4 of the big games they've played, they're ranking number 8 in offensive adjusted efficiency. So it's interesting because I think they're still scoring. They're scoring a lot of points, but their defense is also giving up a ton, which is not like a Rick Pitino defense to do. Now, St. John's did it last year. They did it again this year. They're kind of just putting together a bunch of players and hoping it works out. They're not really building a full complete team. Now this year they have Zuby Ejiofor back at center. They have Providence transfer Bryce Hopkins. But to me, again, it's not a complete team. It's let's go in the portal, get as many guys as we can, get as many talented guys as we can, and hope by March we gel well. And so far, not working. But again, it's early in the season, so.
Yeah. So you said 10 and a half. It's a lot of points.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, that one, I'm not sure exactly how I would lean on it.
I think it was, I don't have it pulled in front of me, but I believe it was KenPom projected 82 to 72.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And then just looking at it, like, that SEC ACC loss for Ole Miss was a rough one there.
Who did they play? I didn't get eyes on that.
They lost to Miami by 9.
Yep.
Which they were like 2.5 point favorite in.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think Chris Beard's a hell of a coach. I'm interested to see
Yeah.
how they bounce back from what seems to be a pretty defeated space there. Auburn, Arizona. What's the Ken Palm spread looking like there?
Projected on KenPom, Arizona -8, total at 160. So again, high scoring. We know these teams are going to score. Both offenses top 12 in the nation on KenPom. Arizona defense is also top 12. So Arizona offense and Arizona defense top 12 in the nation. Auburn's coming in top 12 in offense, but their defense is 61st in the nation currently.
Wow.
So again, I'd give the edge here to Arizona. It's not one of those neutral site games. It's at home at Arizona. So if Auburn wants a chance to win this game, defense is going to have to step up, which so far they've not been able to do. Michigan put up triple digits on them, which a couple years ago, nobody scored triple digits in college basketball, and now it's kind of becoming a norm, especially with these, lower, these kind of cupcake games. A lot of teams scoring 100, but Auburn gave up 100 to a Power 4 team. So
yeah, are you?
I
a big
think that
believer?
goes back to Rick Pitino's comment on just the amount of talent that's in college basketball right now is at all-time high, just because of the portal and being able to pull people out of the G League and just NIL and all that. So I think that kind of plays in why we're seeing a lot more triple-digit games. Is there's just a lot more scoring talent in college basketball, kind of playing off the statement Rick Pitino had made. That's why. That's all I had to chip in and say.
Yeah, I think too, like with these players, it's going kind of more towards the NBA model, where we see totals in the NBA in the 230s, 240s, where it's, can you get a stop in crunch time, not can you stop them the full 40 minutes. It's like, all right, these guys are going to cook, these guys are going to score, but can we score just as many points as them, instead of can we play defense for 40 minutes? Like we saw the Rick Pitino teams at Louisville in the 2010s, where they pick up full court, and they do that for 40 minutes a game, where now you're all playing half court sets. So it comes down to, can you get a crucial stop here and there? Can you get a crucial rebound? But yeah, scoring's ticking up for sure, especially with teams like Alabama that are gonna just shoot the three-point shot at a way higher clip than anyone else. And if it falls, this goes for Louisville too, but if it falls, they're going to score a lot of points. And if it doesn't fall, they're going to look terrible, like one of the worst teams that ever existed, like the first half yesterday. But I agree. I think better players across the league, or across the teams, and just teams that are not picking up. Teams aren't pressing as much as they used to, and they'd press for 40 minutes a game.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very solid point there. Quick question back to football. I know, Matt, you're probably the least biased out of any of us, and obviously the best with lines, as you have been for quite some years. As far as like who's in, who's out, based on these conference championships and how they go, what is your take on Miami, Notre Dame?
So I think I know the game should matter that they played against each other. That was week 1. Again, it still should matter, but they played week 1. Notre Dame's quarterback was making his first start ever, and it was on the road. Notre Dame is playing much better football than Miami the past couple of weeks. Like down the stretch, if you were to tell me right now which one I'd pick, it would be Notre Dame. And if you told me that they were going to play on a neutral field, Notre Dame would be favorites, and I would bet Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They've been playing better football. I know the game should count for something. That was 12 weeks ago.
And I mean, and you also got to, I think, not only is it, you know, Miami did win the head to head, but Miami also had two other losses that were
Right.
not to great teams.
Look at who
As we
Notre
know.
Dame lost to. Notre Dame lost a coin flip on a pass interference call in the end zone in a missed kick to Texas A&M, who didn't have a great schedule this year, but they're going to be in the playoffs no matter what. They lost to Miami week 1, which is a ranked team. They've won every other game. They haven't played anyone besides USC, which is ranked.
Mm-hmm.
So besides USC, they've played nobodies. They've beat the crap out of all of them. Miami lost to 2 unranked teams. Correct? Louisville was unranked at the time?
Correct.
Yeah. SMU was also unranked. So it's going to come down to how much you value that head-to-head matchup, which should hold some weight, but I think Notre Dame deserves to be in over Miami at this point.
I agree.
But, if Texas Tech wins, which they're 12.5-point favorites, BYU is going to be out. Now, the only thing that could keep both of them out is if BYU wins. Like, if BYU wins the Big 12, then the committee could just say, all right, you know, I don't have to deal with this. Both Miami and Notre Dame are out. But I think if Texas Tech wins, Notre Dame should get in and Miami should be out. And that just comes down to who's been playing the best football the last half of the season.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree. I can't believe Miami's even got a chance to get in.
They've been inching them up week by week.
And
Yeah.
I think when the playoff expanded from 4 to 12, like you could really make the argument that like the 5th, 6th, 7th that were left out, like, you know, especially in the last year of it being 4, you know, like Georgia really probably could have won that year that they were 5th.
Yeah.
And they lost out on it. I think that argument is much more valid than the first team out of a 12 team. Because if you were really like that strong of a contender, you would be ranked higher than 10, you know?
Right. I think like the teams like the Texases of the world, where they had their coach Sarkisian come out after they beat Texas A&M. He's like, it's a disservice to college football if we don't get in. It's like, well, dude,
Kentucky had more yards than you.
you lost to Florida. It took you overtime to beat Kentucky. It took you overtime to beat Mississippi State. And those are Florida and Kentucky were the 2 worst teams in the SEC. And Mississippi State is a top 5 or a bottom 5 team in the SEC. Like, you did this to yourself. I don't know what the problem is. You did this to yourself. I'm sick of Texas. I'm sick of the Texas argument. I know Texas beat Vanderbilt, but who would you rather see play, Diego Pavia or Texas?
Diego, yeah, like
Right.
not even close.
Right.
Arch Manning's been such a bust. I mean, realistically though, kind of back to what I was saying. I mean, I don't think anyone below Texas A&M at 7 really has a realistic shot at it. And you know, honestly, if there were one team above that I would take out, I don't think Oregon gets it done this year either.
I like Oregon. I think they've been playing good football, but they
lost coordinator.
They lost both of them.
Yeah.
Their defensive coordinator took the job at Cal. and then obviously Will Stein to Kentucky. But both of them are still going to be coaching throughout the playoffs. But you don't. I mean, you could say that, but you don't know how much. You don't really know where their mind is, right? Like, are they half in on Oregon, half in on Kentucky, half in on Cal, whatever it is.
On Louisville.
Right. What a traitor, huh?
Yeah, literally.
I didn't know he went to Trinity. So, like Kobe knows, I worked there for a couple months at Trinity, so I didn't know he went there. But so that was pretty cool. But it's it's definitely. I like their chances, and now this comes out, so it'll be interesting. But
yeah,
they've been playing good football down the stretch.
I think Will Stein's walking into the worst job in the SEC as far as expectations and reality.
You can't really win there.
You can't. You have a fan base that's very unrealistic in a school that is going to spend $22 million in basketball and is paying a $38 million buyout to your previous football coach. So the opportunity to win there, I think, is really tough. And I just can't wait to see it soon as they start doing kind of poorly in all of these Twitter spaces and whatnot, talk about, Louisville self-sabotaging them with Will Stein as if it's, us with Kenny Payne. I think it's well-deserved. Granted, I also think that they might, kind of be self-sabotaging themselves basketball-wise as well. I know that within the next month or within December, Kentucky's got obviously Gonzaga coming up, and they've also got Indiana and St. John's. I'm interested to see what Pope's record is against those. And if he doesn't go 3 for 3, I'm curious to see how much more toxic it gets. I know last night we were getting things on Twitter about, comparing him to Osama bin Laden. So I'm not sure if you guys have any takes there or not, but I just thought it was really interesting to note about Will Stein and the state.
I have no takes comparing him to Osama bin Laden.
I was a little confused on that, but I do think Pope's about to really get I mean, if they keep losing like they're doing in these big games, he's going to see how bad Kentucky fans can get, because he's got 5 daughters in Lexington. And I know UK fans are known to write death threats and hang nooses in your front yard and throw shit at your yard and stuff. So if it gets worse and UK doesn't find their groove and that kind of stuff starts happening, I think Pope is going to get uncomfortable, because he's got a lot of family, a lot of daughters. They're going to get chirped at. UK fans are ruthless when they're so I think he's going to realize that, and that's going to ass cheeks up a little bit. Will Stein, I told my dad, because there was rumors before they hired Stein that Satterfield was somebody they were looking at too.
Yeah, that was crazy to me.
Crazy. But I think if that was their 2 choices they were looking at, if I was a UK fan, I'm glad they went with Will Stein. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see they renegotiated Stoops' buyout?
No. Where was it the 60-day thing? Is that right?
So it was like half of it was supposed to be upfront in 30 days, and then the other half in 60 days. So like 2 30-day pay periods, basically. He switched it or renegotiated it to be over, I don't know how many years, but over multiple years.
Yeah, it's got to help him.
So it was like
too, though. Like when you
it was like a mutual, a mutual parting of ways. So instead of, I think it was $33 million in 60 days that was owed to him. It's $33 million over, so many years.
Yeah,
which is ultimately going to help the school, help the football program, but.
Yeah, and that's Barnhart there with his lovely contracts. That man's he's nuts. And y'all see where he was getting questioned the other day and got all mad and yelling, asking them to quit questioning them on their what? Did y'all see that interview?
No.
Mitch Barnhart, you have to look it up. He got hot. He got asked like pretty much just questioned on their authority and the way they're managing things, and he
For football or basketball?
pretty much everything as an athletic director. And he didn't take it very well. He told him he was tired of hearing that, and pretty much not to worry about what they're doing, that they're doing things just fine. You have to look
That's
up.
wild.
So, but yeah, they're definitely kind of in shambles down there in Lexington right now, and I'm loving it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
especially after a fucking beatdown
Yeah,
on Saturday.
he got more bailed out from Cal leaving, I think, than anybody gives credit. The 2 lifetime contracts with buyouts doing 60 days is just completely unheard of. And he gave 2 of them. Like, I think the only other person I ever heard having is Jimbo Fisher. And we all see, how that worked out. But 3
I mean,
people-
Brian Kelly's was pretty crazy too.
Yeah.
the NIL has shaken up UK because now everybody's paying players, and dude, I'm so serious. It messed up their whole just plan, the way they go about how they have over probably the last 20, 30 years. They've been, getting the edge with whether or not it's straight physical cash, but I mean, it's been dollar value thing, how they've recruited players. And now that you got the whole country doing it, they're going to have to now, coach. They're going to have to actually coach and recruit. And it's not about what will get you now. It's more than that. So I don't know. I think UK has, I think their time is done as being Mr. College Basketball, BB.
Yeah.
No,
I'm interested to see it. That's all I really had for this week. Would love to be back again next week. Just kind of really doing like a CFP preview, diving into some basketball again. But yeah, thank you guys for being with us.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.